Hey, Mark Davis here. We're going to talk about pre-spawn fishing when the water's still pretty cold. The bass are first starting to move up, and I'm going to give you some of my favorite ways and lures and techniques and ways to catch these fish when they start moving up. And first, we're going to talk about a Carolina rig. I have here a basic Carolina rig, about a 3-foot leader. And right here's what we really want to talk about, and that is the Strike King Game Hog. This little setup right here, when the water temperatures are still in the 50s, all the way up until the spawn, this is a great way to catch fish. So I'm gonna fish this on points, humps, anywhere. Here's what you want to think about. Where do the fish want to go to spawn? They want to go back into a protected area, or they want to go to the top of a ridge or a big flat, maybe a main lake flat. So where are these fish going to set up just before they make that move? And those are the type areas that you want to concentrate with the Carolina rig. Now another technique, and these are all slow moving lures that we're talking about, is a football jig. Here's a Strike King 1/2 ounce football jig. I have it paired up with a Strike King Rage Bug. And now, as you can see, I've taken the side appendages off of the Rage Bug and I've cut it down to fit that nice little 1/2 ounce jig. That's a great combination right there. And this color is pumpkin crawl, green pumpkin crawl jig. That's a blue crawl trailer. So I'm gonna fish that on my casting equipment, same areas as I do my football jig, as I do my Carolina rig. But now think about this. This is something that's a little bit of advice that'll help you catch more fish on a football jig. And it also brings us into the next conversation, which is going to be about probably my favorite pre-spawn little technique, which is a wobble head or a swing head. Each of these lures you can fish in the manner that I'm talking about. Conventionally, we're going to cast them out, we're going to fish them slow on the bottom. But a lot of times, especially on windy days, I will throw those lures out, get them on the bottom, and then I'll just start winding them. And of course, you know, as you're trying to hit the bottom with them, but at times they're going to come off the bottom, and you're going to stop, you retrieve, let them hit the bottom again. So what are you doing? You're getting sort of you're almost fishing like a crankbait. You know, you're making cast. You can actually cover water with it, especially with a 1/2 or a 3/4 ounce football jig, or a 1/2 ounce wobble head or swing head, whichever you prefer to call it. On the swing head, I have a Menace rigged up on there. This is a smaller one. This is probably a 1/4, but I'll use, if I was gonna fish the 1/4, it's gonna be on spinning tackle. On my casting equipment, say with 15 or 17 pound line, I want a 1/2 ounce, at least a 3/8 ounce, something I can get some distance with. The great thing about this little Strike King wobble head, you can put any hook style size you want on it, and it's real easy to do. You know, the hook, you just put it in there and you just twist it around and it locks in place. You can buy this little wobble head from Strike King, put any hook that you want on it that'll match any lure that you want to fish on it. Those are my favorite slow, as far as fishing with something slow, a jig, a Carolina rig, a wobble head. When fish are first starting to come up, getting ready to spawn, those are my favorite techniques, and I guarantee you they'll work for you too. And by the way, my favorite rod-reel combination for all these techniques that we talked about, which were football jig, a Carolina rig, and a wobble head, would be this rod. And Mark Rose designed this rod to fish a big spoon with, but it is a 7'11". It's my favorite rod. It's a Custom Pro Series from Lew's, 7'11". So it's great for a Carolina rig, football jig. In fact, I do so many things with this one rod, but all those techniques that we just talked about, this rod and reel combination, that's a BB1 Pro, and you're gonna put probably 15 to 17 pound test fluorocarbon on there, and you're all set.